Welcome to Terror in Tandem, a podcast about finding entertainment in the macabre. Each episode, we discuss the horror genre, from books to film to TV and beyond. Sometimes even from the beyond. Hosted by the knowledgeable and lovable Laura and Richard Mathiasen. Especially lovable.
Especially lovable.
Especially lovable. Hello.
Hi.
Welcome back, everyone.
Oh my God! Thank you for joining us again.
Yeah, we're super excited to host you today.
We're glad we scared you just enough in the first episode, but not so much that you didn't come back.
Should we up the scare factor?
I mean, I feel like if this was on YouTube, it would be scarier, just based on how I look right now.
I mean, listen, this isn't a beauty contest. This is a horror podcast.
And thank goodness it isn't for the rest of you, because I would win.
No, you're beautiful.
Oh.
Oh, right, I get it.
Wait.
Yeah.
Okay.
You're humble as well.
Well, what are we doing today?
Well, first of all, I just wanted to welcome everybody, new listeners, returning listeners, and friends that we have strong-armed into listening.
Yes.
Strong-eared,
Guilt,
if you will.
is a powerful tool.
Yes, thank you, friends. Now your job is to share this with someone.
If you were really our friends, you would.
Think of this podcast like a pyramid scheme. We get 5 people listening,
Wait.
and then you get 5 people listening.
I don't know if when you're introducing a pyramid scheme, you're supposed to say that it's a pyramid scheme.
Well, everybody knows
Welcome
that it's a
to
pyramid
this
scheme.
Idea that is triangular shaped.
Listen, all I need you guys to do now is to get 5 people to listen.
Yeah.
And then those 5 people, you get 5 more people to
And
listen.
before
That's
you
how
know
we're
it-
growing this podcast.
Before you know it, we will defeat Xenu.
So yeah, this episode, we're doing what we're looking forward to in May.
Yeah, we're kind of toying with the idea of at the beginning of each month, just jumping in and telling you all about what we're looking forward to most coming up.
We're going to tell you, what we're most looking forward to in the upcoming month.
Well said.
To reiterate what Richard just said.
And to reiterate what Laura just said, reiterating what I just said, why don't you want to go first? I mean,
Oh, okay.
I feel like we set it up. It's these are things that are coming out in May that we're really looking forward to, and we hope you are too.
Well, first, I think we should talk about May.
Let's do it.
May is a time, and we're living on the East Coast at this present recording. Not telling you where.
In one of our northeastern coastal properties.
Yeah, we're definitely coastal elites.
Yeah. It rhymes with Bartha's Grinyard.
Bartha's Grinyard. That's a good one. So we are very much looking forward to May, not just because of the horror of it, but also because May is a really great season to be on the East Coast. It's finally going to warm up a little bit, but not too much.
I mean, I hope so. My God.
Richard,
I'm dying. I hate the cold
this
so
is
much.
like the odd couple here.
It's the worst.
He hates the cold and I hate the heat.
I mean, I don't live in a cave. Why am I cold?
He's always cold.
It's
and I'm
21st
always
century
hot.
and I'm cold.
It's just a match made in purgatory.
I spent my childhood in hell, so, I'm just used to a warmer climate.
So,
It's my demon DNA.
May brings lots of things with it. The end of school semesters, the beginning of spring, flowers blooming, allergies activating. And so we thought it would be a perfect time to talk about what we're looking forward to in the month of May regarding horror. Since, let's face it, you're coming to this podcast for one of 2 reasons. Either you want to hear what we have to say about horror,
or you're just obsessed with us.
Yes, you love
and
us so
honestly,
much.
take it down a notch. It's a little...
No, bring it up a notch and notch those 5 stars on your podcast listening system
Yes.
of taste.
And then get inappropriately involved in my personal life. That's what
No,
that's what I want.
I mean, of course, as always, every month there's going to be a lot of things that are coming out that we don't talk about, but we're going to share what we're most looking forward to, right?
Yeah, it might be helpful in the age of peak entertainment to just sort of filter out some of the noise. That's not to say that there isn't other good stuff coming out. This is just what we're most looking forward to.
Sure thing. So my first, what I'm excited for
Hit it.
in May is The Staircase.
Oh, okay.
So The Staircase is a new limited series, and it is based on a 2004 documentary, which is based on the 2001 death of Kathleen Peterson. So in December of 2001, novelist Michael Peterson called 911 to report that Kathleen had fallen down a set of stairs in their Forest Hills mansion, and she died. And the authorities were immediately suspicious of him. They thought that she didn't fall down the stairs and that he bludgeoned her to death. So the 2004 documentary covered essentially the trial and some background on the family. During the trial, which is really exciting about this documentary, during the trial, it was discovered that Peterson was living in Germany. His best friend's widow and the mother of his adopted children died from a cerebral hemorrhage, followed by
That's a tough one.
Yeah, I know. Sorry. From an intracerebral hemorrhage, which was followed by the body falling downstairs after she collapsed.
Oh.
And so it was almost the same head injuries sustained by his wife, Kathleen.
That's a coinky dink.
Yeah. So, I mean, the authorities in Germany...
You think like you would... I don't know, if you're serial murdering your wives, wouldn't you mix up the methods?
Yeah, well, the German police said it was accidental death. And but his stepdaughter, Caitlin, filed a wrongful death suit against him. She was Kathleen's daughter, so I think that she was always suspicious of him. Anyway, back to the documentary. At the end of the documentary, he is convicted and sentenced to life. However,
spoiler.
Well, I mean, this came out in 2004.
I mean, I know.
Should I disclaim?
I don't think you can spoil reality.
Yeah. But a retrial resulted in him being released in 2017. But he does still have that civil wrongful death claim that's underway. So that's the documentary based on what happened,
but that's
what allegedly happened.
Okay.
And so this new drama miniseries that's going to be on HBO Max, it's premiering May 5th. So it's probably going to be one episode at a time. People that are used to binging, you might have to wait. So it takes its inspiration from the documentary, and that's why I went into a little bit of a deep dive on the documentary, because I thought it was important. And that documentary is, I believe, on Netflix. So it tells this story of Michael Peterson, played by Colin Firth.
Oh, okay.
From A King's Speech, right?
From The King's Speech?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And from many British.
And The Kingsman.
Kingsman, and yes.
Bridget
Colin
Jones's
Firth.
Diary.
Yep.
Very handsome lad.
And Toni Collette plays Kathleen, the wife.
Our queen.
We love Toni Collette. She's been in a lot of things. Hereditary.
The Sixth Sense.
The Sixth Sense, we just mentioned.
Knives Out.
In a previous episode.
I mean, lots of stuff.
Yes,
she's in
amazing.
She's good in everything.
So that's coming out I just told you what it was about, based on, and then based on. So it's based on the documentary, but it's just based on this alleged wrongful death.
So it's a miniseries based on a documentary, based on a true story, based on the novel Push by Sapphire.
Correct.
Got
It's
it.
meta. So check it out. I will.
Awesome. Oh, that sounds good.
What do you got?
Okay. My first one is, I'm really excited about this. It is a movie called Men. It's coming out May 20th in theaters. It's an A24 release, which for some of you, me included, is going to mean that's awesome. And for some of you, it's going to turn you off. I mean, it's a pretty particular film studio that releases a particular kind of horror movie, like The Witch, The Lighthouse, things like that, Midsummer. Some of my favorites, but not for everybody, maybe. Anyway.
Yeah, I mean, I would say my feeling on A24 is mixed.
Oh, they have an automatic watch for me. I think they hit a lot more than they miss. So this is written and directed by Alex Garland, who another one that's got a free pass from me. He wrote 28 Days Later.
Like
Not
a hall
a hall.
pass?
No. That's just for you.
I was just about to Google what he looks like, because I mean, is it a hall pass for
I don't
me,
know.
or?
I'm sure he's a handsome man. Anyway, Alex Garland, writer of 28 Days Later, directed Annihilation, which was phenomenal. This is his newest film, starring Rory Kinnear. Fans of Penny Dreadful will remember was the monster, and Jessie Buckley, who's making a real splash.
She was just in The Lost Daughter. For
Right.
those of you who watched that, it was a wonderful limited series.
And she made her debut in 2017 in Beast, I think was her first movie, which was a pretty decent adaptation of the Beauty and the Beast story. But she's had a bit of a meteoric rise. So anyway, the official synopsis for the movie is a young woman goes on a solo holiday in the English countryside after the death of her husband. And that's it. Kind of par for the course for an A24. It's mysterious. This is a trailer that I turned off halfway through because I don't want to know. It's a little weird to make a recommendation and tell you I don't know a lot about this movie, but I can tell you the vibe is very mysterious, a sense of wrongness, a sense of dread. There's a definite oppressive sense of the patriarchy in this film. Jessie Buckley seems to be surrounded by these kind of menacing men. At least that's the sense I got from the trailer. But there's a Twilight Zone, something's not right here, but I can't quite put my finger on it. And I'm hoping it's a good A24 slow burn, which is my fave. So yeah, I honestly don't even watch the trailer. It's Alex Garland. It's an A24 film. Those two things together, pretty sure it's going to be a good movie. So I recommend going in cold, which is what I'm going to do. Men.
Well, they definitely kept the horror element under wraps, though, during this, initial trailer.
Yeah, I mean, you definitely get the sense that there's something very wrong happening, but it's not overt.
When does it come out?
May 20th in theaters.
Oh, in theaters. Just another side note about Alex Garland. I don't need him to be my hall pass, but he did write Sunshine.
Oh, I know.
That movie with Cillian Murphy and Rose Byrne and Chris Evans and
Actually,
Michelle Yeoh was in it as well.
His first, I think, screenplay was another Danny Boyle film based on his novel, The Beach, with Leonardo DiCaprio.
That is a great movie.
That was a great book, too.
He also did the screenplay for Never Let Me Go, which is one of my favorite books by Kazuo Ishiguro.
Yeah, no, Alex Garland is top notch.
Yeah.
I mean, he was a novelist before he was a screenwriter, and now he's moved into directing, and he has excelled at everything he's done. All three. I mean, he's a real talent.
So maybe I can say that. I mean, although I didn't see Never Let Me Go, the film, because the movie or the book is just so amazing.
It's sometimes hard to.
Yeah, I didn't necessarily need it.
You're worried you'll be let down.
Keira Knightley's in it. I'm not the biggest Keira Knightley fan.
Okay.
She's okay. She's pretty, but I'm not. I don't know. I was a huge fan of the novel anyway.
Yeah.
So, but maybe he's a free pass for me too, because I'm liking his work.
I've yet to read or see anything Alex Garland's been involved with that hasn't been great. I mean, it's just been great or masterpiece for me. So, all right, so it's about time to take a break, maybe.
Yeah, listen to one of the ads from our sponsors.
One of our sponsors that keeps us in the black. Is that a money thing? I'm great with money.
Yeah. Check it out.
All right.
Men, are you tired of the same old khaki pants and plain blue collared uniform everybody expects you to wear? Bored of not letting your true style sing? Well, at Buffalo Bill's Skin Suit Warehouse, we have the fleshy, flirty, and functional designs of some of the hottest up-and-coming serial murderers out there. Picture yourself in a stylish onesie made exclusively of dry-aged kidnapped waitresses. Or be the dapper man about town in our one-of-a-kind hand-sewn artisanal flesh tunics. Are you a groomsman in your future brother-in-law's wedding? We have the newly peeled flesh from someone's former brother-in-law. Or imagine wearing a skin suit to the funeral of the person whose coffin you're standing over. Now that's poetic. The possibilities are endless. Head over to Buffalo Bill's Skin Suit Warehouse and mention this ad for 5% off your purchase. Located near the 7th Street Bridge overpass, we're hard to find, but worth the look. This is a fake ad for a fake product on a horror-themed podcast. We do not condone nor endorse murdering people and using their skin to make clothing. Next up, my recommendation or my excitement of May is Stranger Things Part 1.
Season 4, Part 1.
Season 4, Part 1.
Right?
Right.
Yeah.
Yep. Sorry, Season 4, Part
Hell
1.
Yeah.
It comes out May 27th on Netflix. It's the Duffer Brothers. If you haven't watched any of it, I would maybe skip over this because I am going to talk about what happened at the end of season 3.
Yeah.
Just to give you a sort of wrap up. So it's going to be,
Spoiler
season 4
warning.
is going to be, yeah.
Also, why haven't you watched it yet?
Yeah,
My
it's
gosh.
really good.
Get your priorities together.
Especially for people that love nostalgia like we do. It's really 80s. It's great. The music's great. Winona Ryder is in it. I mean, talk about nostalgia.
Yeah, basically like one of my earliest crushes.
Yeah, she's not crush worthy in this show, but you know who is also
Rude.
in it is another 80s
Listeners, I disagree.
is another 80s lovable actor.
Sean Astin.
Sean Astin. Yeah.
Always love Sean Astin.
Sam Wise.
Mm-hmm.
From Lord of the Rings. I just want everybody to be up to speed on who we're talking about.
Yeah.
So, May 27th, Part 1 is coming out. Part 2 comes out July 1st. So if that's a recommendation, Part 2, then you know that I really like Part 1. It's been 2.5 years, yo.
Yeah, it's been a long time.
I gave up on being excited about
Those kids are like
Stranger
30
Things.
now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
They're all married.
just to give you a level set as to where we left the group. So it's set in the 80s in Hawkins, Indiana, which is a fictional town.
When we last left them, they were in their 12th year of puberty.
Millie Bobby Brown, Finn Wolfhard, Noah Schnapp, and Winona Ryder, David Harbour as well.
And the kid with the mean prank show.
Caleb McLaughlin.
Something.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Caleb McLaughlin.
One of them has this weird prank show that's like kind of mean-spirited.
I think it's him.
Yeah.
He plays...
I think it's Gaten Matarazzo is his name.
Oh, right. Yeah. Who's Caleb then?
Don't know.
Oh, he's probably the brother.
Will? Oh, yeah.
No, that's Noah Schnapp.
Anyway, IMDb exists.
So one of the biggest mysteries following season 3 was whether Hopper, David Harbour's character, was dead or not. And there was a teaser in February, and we got a glimpse of him in Russia. So we know that he's not dead. So that's good. So this newest installment takes place 6 months after this epic fight against the Mind Flayer.
I love it. It's
And
like straight out of
11,
D&D.
who is played by Millie Bobby Brown, and her friends are now like all separated. In the trailer, Max, who's played by Sadie Sink, who I'm really digging. I'm digging her work. She was in the video for Taylor Swift's expanded Red album.
Okay.
So if you guys know that, it was a great video.
You're looking at me like I know it.
Well,
and
it was a great video.
I'm not saying it wasn't. I haven't seen it yet.
So she's sitting by the grave of her stepbrother who sacrificed himself to save 11 in season 3, Billy Hargrove, and he was played by Dacre Montgomery. He was so good. He had that mullet.
Yeah.
Awesome. Anyway, it looks like there's a war. 11 doesn't have her powers. She lost them last season 3.
So the classic hero's journey.
The actors that play some of the characters said that this is the scariest season yet.
Yikes.
And I have to say, like, it's been 2.5 years. I wasn't super excited, but then when I saw the trailer, I was absolutely like, yes. Oh, yes.
Yeah.
I forgot how good this show is.
It really feels like it's moving into finale mode, too.
Yeah.
Like it's pulling out all the stops.
Yeah, they're going to, throw all of it at
They got that nice budget.
the Mind Flayer.
Yeah.
So check that out.
Oh, definitely.
Netflix.
Yeah, and
End of May.
you can binge it like the little piggies that you are on
Yeah,
Netflix.
it does come out at once.
Yeah. Just
Except
shove
for
it down
its
your
part
gullet.
1 and part 2. So
Yeah,
they
that's
just
been
did that with Ozark,
I
and the
remember-
part 2 is out now, and I feel like, why am I wasting time recording this podcast when I should really be watching Ozark?
They did that with
part 2?
Battlestar Galactica, and it drove me crazy breaking up the seasons by like a year or two. That's rough, man. Is it my turn?
Yes.
Ooh, I'm really, really looking forward to this one. I'm very excited. It's a little bit of a cheat because it was released April 29th, but it starts streaming May 17th. So,
And let's admit, we're
counts.
not going anywhere.
Yeah, exactly. So this next one is
Where's it streaming?
on a Google search. So this next one is it's coming all the way from Finland, and it's called Hatching. It's by a director named Hanna Bergholm, and Finland is actually it's a place I have spent some time. I spent a few weeks there when I was younger, and it's an amazing place. Really beautiful country, beautiful culture, and they've made a few horror movies. They've got a small film industry. I think their most famous filmmaker is probably Rennie Harlin for Die Hard 2 and The Long Kiss Goodnight. But Hatching is it's definitely up my alley. It's kind of a modern folktale about this very tightly wound influencer family, which influencer family is one of those sentences that when you say it, you just feel a little part of yourself die. And it's exactly how you think, this carefully constructed facade of a perfect family that's just all bullshit. And everybody is pushing themselves to be perfect, and it's all a veneer. So the official synopsis for the movie, Hatching, the official synopsis: 12-year-old Tina is desperate to please her mother, a woman obsessed with presenting the image of a perfect family. One night, Tina finds a strange egg. What hatches is beyond belief. So anyway, yeah, she's this 12-year-old girl who was a gymnast, whose mother pushes her really, really hard, records her every action, basically, is living this very strange online life. She finds an egg in the woods, brings it home, and keeps it warm, keeps it safe, and the egg starts to grow to enormous size. Pretty soon, it's about as big as she is. And what hatches out of it is a monster. I'm really looking forward to this movie. So there's a lot of really cool-looking practical effects around the monster. A lot of kind of old school Stan Winston style, gooey, The Thing, Society. it's also a a pretty relevant commentary on the reality that so many of us construct online and how damaging that can be to your actual life. And I just love a good modernized folktale. This has all the elements of like a real creepy allegorical folk story, but with lots of goo and gore and practical effects. So not for the weak of stomach, this one probably, but it's been getting a lot of positive buzz. It looks amazing.
Yeah, at Sundance.
Yeah, it killed at Sundance.
It did really, really well. And
I played at Fantasia.
Not always a positive place for horror.
Oh yeah, for genre films, yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, it's always exciting to see a movie like this, a foreign genre film, just really killing it at a quote unquote pedigree film festival like that. So yeah, I'm just really excited about Hatching.
You can like what you like. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, audience, a reminder: you can like what you like.
Yeah, exactly.
So
like what you like.
Back to you and what you like and are allowed to like.
Oh, right. So my last recommendation for May is a book. It's called Hide, and it comes out May 24th. I've never read anything by this author. Her name is Kiersten White.
Oh yeah, that's new for me too.
Yeah, she's a New York Times bestselling author and a Bram Stoker Award winner. So
now I feel kind of ashamed that I haven't heard of her.
Well, I think some of her skews a little YA, but this one is not a YA.
And I'm MA.
Those that don't know, YA is young adult.
Am I OA? Old adult?
Yeah.
Or crusty adult?
Curmudgeonly adult.
Oh.
That's a shout out to one of our friends who is trying to find a gender neutral term for spinster for me. So curmudgeon, thank you.
Curmudgeon?
Yeah. Anyone can be a curmudgeon. It's genderless.
That makes me, I would respond to that, but that just put me in the worst mood.
Yeah, because you're a curmudgeon. So Hide, it is essentially, for those of you in the stage of the pandemic when Squid Games came out, if you were really into that, this has that similar vibe. It's a challenge where you spend a week hiding in an abandoned amusement park. The goal is to not get caught. The prize is enough money to change everything. That's sort of the lure.
Yeah.
Everybody wants to win, obviously. Mac is the main character. She's positive that she can beat everyone. And people begin to disappear one by one. And
does she know this going into the game? Okay.
And so she's like, oh, this is darker and more sinister than I thought. And
I like that.
Survival is the only way to win.
It forces the character to sort of switch their mental calculus also midway. Like, okay, am I okay with the knowledge that people are dying because of stuff I'm doing?
I love really like enticing hooks on, horror books.
That rhymed.
Yeah, I know. So this is what it says.
So what we're into, ladies and gentlemen, is enticing hooks on horror books.
Enticing hooks on horror books. This is what it says. 14 competitors, 7 days, everywhere to hide, but nowhere to run. Come out wherever you are.
Damn, that's tight.
I know. I love it.
Whoever wrote that, bring them on full time and stop hiring unpaid interns.
So Hide, a horror novel coming out May 24th.
That's awesome. I love it.
Check it out of the library.
Definitely go to your local library. We are big fans of the library here.
Yes.
It's where we first discovered some of our earliest horror loves.
Yeah.
Stephen King, Dean Koontz, Brian Lumley, all that good stuff. Thanks, libraries. Ooh, is it me?
Yeah.
All right. So this last one, I got to be honest, I was hesitant at first until I found out who was directing it. So I'm recommending the remake of Firestarter, which is coming out on Peacock and in theaters on May 13th. It's a Blumhouse.
High School Musical fans. It's starring Zac Efron.
It is starring Zac Efron. That's not why I was hesitant. I like Zac Efron, actually. I think he's really charming. He's got great charisma. I'm excited to see him in a horror movie because I don't know if I've seen him in anything like that before.
He was in that remake of Bundy.
Right. Oh, he played Ted Bundy in that. Yeah.
Extremely wicked and shockingly vile.
Right. I didn't see that. But I do like Zac Efron. I think he's got a lot of charisma, and he's playing a young father in this movie, which is interesting. You know, he's growing up, transitioning away from his early Disney days. Anyway, I'm looking forward to this for a few reasons. I like the original film. It's maybe a bit more sci-fi than horror, but the original's great. It's an 80s classic. It's got David Keith and Drew Barrymore and George C. Scott as the scenery chewing villain. And you know, George C. Scott, man, could chew scenery like no one else. So, long story short, it's about a young girl with pyrokinesis, which is the ability to start fires with your mind, and it's emotion based for her. So, she has a lot of trouble controlling it. There's some tragedy around that, as you can imagine. And she is on the run because the government knows about her and wants to capture her and study her and use her as a weapon or whatever. And her father is just trying to keep her protected. So at its core, it's an emotional story about, you know, the lengths a father will go to protect his daughter, the line between keeping the public safe from this clear threat, but also it's a young girl who hasn't gained control of this yet. I mean, can she be blamed? So, and it's also just cool to start fires with your mind, honestly. I'm excited to see how that's represented with modern effects. But what really got me interested in this is the director. It's being directed by Keith Thomas, who is pretty new to the scene. Just did back in 2019, he did a movie called The Vigil, which was a really fantastic film. It was a Jewish horror film about a Hasidic community in New York. A young man sitting shomer for a dead member of the community.
Sitting Shiva?
No, shomer. He is the shomer who is the man who, in the Orthodox community, when someone dies, their body lays in state for a night, and the shomer stays up and prays over the body and keeps it safe and protected from any
you were just telling
malevolent
me about
spirits.
this
Yeah,
book.
I just watched it.
Film, sorry.
I just watched it like a week or two ago. It's an intimate, small scale film about trauma and grief and loss. Some really universal stories, but it's also from the folklore from a Jewish perspective, which is something we just don't get enough of in horror movies. I mean, there have been a couple of fantastic examples, like The Golem from 1920. More recently, Demon, Polish film. There was I think it was called The Box. It was about the Dybbuk. But we get a lot of we get a lot of Catholic and Christian based horror with like the devil and possessions and priests and exorcisms, but not a lot of Jewish based. And it was just fascinating. It's a universal story of grief and loss and accepting your mistakes and accepting people for their flaws and whatnot, and also finding the strength within. But it's hands down, it's very scary. It's PG-13 also, so it's kind of old school scares. But anyway, Firestarter is what I'm recommending for the month. It could really go either way, as with any remake, but
it's going to be on HBO Max, so you can watch it from the comfort of your own home.
I thought Peacock. Pretty sure it's going to be on Peacock. But yeah, I'm definitely going to give it a shot. I like the cast. I like the director, Blumhouse. They don't always hit, but I feel like they do a lot more good than they miss. So I think it's worth a shot. We'll see. Maybe next month I'll be talking about it.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think that, whatever you're looking forward to in May, there's going to be some downtime. And maybe you can check one of these films out, or books, or TV shows that we recommended. Also, any of our recommendations are personal to us, so what we're looking forward
Oh
to.
yeah, don't get mad if they stink.
Yeah, I mean,
like I
we're
didn't make any of these.
We're really looking forward to it, and we're going to share our thoughts on them
Yeah.
in future episodes.
That's the nice thing about horror too is there's no like off season really. You know, like big blockbusters tend to come out at like 1 or 2 times the year, but horror's pretty consistent throughout the year. There's always something good
Be
coming
afraid
out.
of.
Yeah, exactly. And you know, it's always a interesting to see what people are afraid of now. You know, you might have noticed a little theme in some of our recommendations, and that wasn't intended, of, you know, stories about living your life online, or stories about finding your identity, survival.
You know, the government's after you.
Yeah, surveillance, privacy,
like
and identity, and constructing reality,
Yeah.
things like that are going on now. Also, the thought of Hopper being kidnapped and taken to Russia is that doesn't sound like fun.
And also, there's a lot of, you know, kids in the horror recommendations.
Yeah,
that we
because being a kid
offered.
is fucking scary, man.
Yeah, right.
God.
If it's not scary enough, boy, do we have some
Yeah.
tricks up our sleeves.
Keep listening. Well,
so thanks for listening.
Thanks for listening, everybody.
And join us next time.
Terror in Tandem is written, produced, and recorded by Laura and Richard Mathiasen, and edited and mixed by Richard Mathiasen. Our theme was written and performed by Carrie Denver, and all other music was written and performed by David Suspanic. All opinions expressed on this podcast are our own and should be taken as such. Thanks for listening, and please remember to give us a like, a review, and subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. See you next time. We're standing right behind you.